As a church, when we try to reach everybody, we're not reaching anybody. With our marketing, our advertising, and our branding, when we become generic, it actually becomes noise and nobody pays attention. They don't hear the message that we have for them, so we get ignored. If you've ever felt like you're the best kept secret in town, this is probably why. This is what we found in working with hundreds of churches is the main problem. Churches are too generic. They don't reach the people that they're trying to reach because their messaging is so vague. Now, spiritually, we are trying to reach everybody. The gospel is for everyone, young and old, man and woman, short or tall. The message is for everybody. But when it comes to our advertising and our marketing, we need to make sure we cut through the noise and reach the people in our community. So in this video, I want to share with you how you can do this. I want to encourage you that it's possible and maybe shift a few things that you all already do just a little bit. If we shifted it, you can actually cut through and reach more people in your community, get them to show up on Sunday and see the church growing with new faces coming every single week. And from there, they're sticking and coming back. So again, when you reach everybody, when you're trying to reach everybody with your advertising, your marketing, and your branding, you're actually not reaching anybody. Apple Computer did a really good job. Back in the 90s, they had to reset the brand. They were a failing company, and the first thing that Steve Jobs did was he chose an audience. He chose creative people to build the brand around. So the idea was that Apple products were designed to help the artist become the great person that was inside of them. They're just giving them a tool. And that worked. Like it helped Apple to become noticed by the creative community. And from there, everybody began to buy their products. So it's counterintuitive, but as a church, when we focus and we message towards one point, we're actually more attractive to people outside. Again, as a brand, we're not saying no to anybody. That's not what this is all about. We're saying we're going to be focused, hyper focused on the people that we are very good at reaching. And because of that focus, we actually become more attractive. So you're not competing with the church down the street. What you're actually competing with is anything else that can take the attention of people coming to church on Sunday morning. So it's Netflix, it's the tournament, right? The sports tournament, it's the movie, it's watching YouTube, it's all the other things that people who want to be comfortable would do instead of getting up, driving, coming to the church, and showing up. So we need to make sure we reach people with the right message where they understand the benefits of coming to our church to the point where it gets them to move and take action. So again, that messaging has to be very clear. We have to understand our audience and serve them. And that really means we need to love them really well. So, and that's what, of course, a church does. So how do we get away from being generic? Because generic does not really reach people. Um, it's it's just that it becomes hard to remember. When we're generic, it's not something that sticks in the minds of people. So in Fort Lauderdale, when we did a church plant, we had a tagline for the church, and the tagline was "Live a Better Story," and that was based on the audience that we knew existed in Fort Lauderdale, that they were living this really big life, fancy cars, a nice house, but they weren't really living a great story. And so we wanted that tagline to be something that reflected a pain point, but also was a benefit. It pointed towards a benefit. If you come to our church, we're going to help you do this, and you can do it. So for you, there's 3 shifts that I want to unpack that you can make right now to begin to move in this direction. So they come from the place of getting specific of who you are actually for. So again, we want to build a brand for who you are for, and it's based on what God has called you, what God has called you to. So let's begin to unpack that. So point number 1, we need to pick a person. In marketing world, this is called an avatar. So pick somebody that loves your church and begin to build an avatar around it. Okay, an avatar is a fictitious character that has attributes that you can point back to. So when we were starting Vibrant Church, uh, we picked Chris. Chris was a 34-year-old man who was married, had kids, and had some struggles. He was in debt and he needed spiritual guidance. He wanted his kids to thrive and live a better life than he had, but he didn't know how to do it. So he needed a guide, somebody to come along, a church to come along and help his family begin to understand how they could live this better story. So for you, who is that person? A lot of times it comes by looking at your congregation and just saying, who is it that loves our church? And begin to unpack, what is it that they love about our church? Like, what is it about our church that serves them well? If you don't have a good reference in mind, start with families. Okay, so families are really the core of a great church. So if you can attract parents that have kids, then strategically as a church, that is a good foundation. Those people come, they contribute, they volunteer, they donate because their kids are involved, and that's a really great starting point to build a brand for a church. So start there. If you can reach parents, then you're really able to build a strong brand on top of that. Now, within that, you can figure out, okay, what are some nuances? So again, Chris in Fort Lauderdale, that culture is very fashionable. Like they care about what things look like and how they dress. So we built a brand around that. Like one of the things we did was we chose a color, yellow, a very bright, vibrant color, to be our brand color, and it was yellow paired with black, so it's very contrasty. So it's bold, a very bold color scheme, because it was South Florida, and that's what Chris was used to, and that's what he responded to. Okay, so build the brand. So the second shift is to build the brand around what they care about. Okay, so it's not about our preferences as the leadership. Okay, if you like red, that's great, but does your audience like red? Like, are they going to respond to that? Is red really authentic to what they care about, right? So I'm just using red as an example. But when it comes to colors, the design of the logo, the way the website presents, we need to just make sure that we are putting our audience first. And from that, we make design choices. Okay, so and then the shift number 3. So once we're putting our audience first and we're putting their preferences first, then we need to get clear about our messaging. So we want to make sure our messaging is not designed to reach everybody. We want to make sure we're really pinpointing the problems that our audience faces, and then we're messaging around the results. So again, if you're targeting young families, you might message around this idea of like, how do we help families thrive? Like, how do we help your kids thrive? How do you help your marriage thrive? How do you help you financially to thrive? What does that look like, to message around those benefits that those families are looking for? Like they have a pain point in their life, and then we want to present the messaging that says we understand it and we're going to help you get these results. Okay. So let me tell you about Life Mission Church. This was a rebrand we did back, I think it was like about 10 years ago. And so they wanted to reach more people in their community. It was a good church that was already doing really well. I mean, I think they had about 2,000 people or so coming on a weekend. So very good church, but they needed to rebrand, and we came in to help them do that. Life Mission was a church built on this mission mindset. Like the pastor came off the mission field and started a church. So everything about the brand was about going into the world and preaching the gospel. And so we built a brand around that. And so with that, we chose colors and fonts. We designed a new logo, and it all was designed to like help people and inspire people to make a difference in the world. And so that started with the local community, but then beyond that, they had a bunch of mission trips that they would do, probably a dozen or so missions trips every year, all across the globe. And it was missions was just a big part. If you walked into the building was very like warehouse like, kind of stripped down to the what are the basics, and it looks like a mission, warehouse. And so it fit the brand really well. So we rebranded around that idea. So the website, the logo, everything, the messaging was all designed around making a difference. Um, in fact, the tagline was to love God, love others. That was kind of, and then God, others, so G and O. And so the tagline that would be said from stage or in the lobby or in the hallways is our mission is go. So go meaning God, love others. Okay, so again, that's just an example of how we created a brand around this idea of mission, like global missions. And it wasn't generic. It was designed. If you were somebody in our community that really wanted to make an impact with your life, this was the best place in town for you to come and make an impact with your life. And it was very clear in everything we put out there online and also in person that that's what this church was all about. So just want to tell you about, again, three points that help us to just clearly understand what we built. So the logo was built around making a difference. For Life Mission Church, it's this globe, these arrows. It was all designed around this idea of like going into the world and making a difference with your life. The colors, we chose orange. Orange is a color that's active. It's vibrant. It's movement. It shows energy. So the fonts that we chose were matching that vibe of movement. The website we built was reflective. The messaging on the website was reflective of making a difference. So be thinking about that. How do we, what you say from the stage should match up with what people see on the website. It should match up with what they see on social media. So there has to be an overarching strategy with that target audience in place. The brand becomes a magnet for the right people. The right people that when they show up, they're going to be like, yes, I've been looking for this all my life. Where have you been, right? So for Life Mission Church, when people showed up on the campus and they walked into the building, they would have felt like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I was hoping for based on what I saw on the website and based on my convictions. Like, this is it. Like, I want to make a difference in the world, and this place is going to help me do that. So then they stick around, they participate, they're excited to be there. We're not trying to reach out to everyone. We weren't trying to, with the Life Mission branding, we weren't trying to reach, the trendy college student, like a church might be doing in. We went to VU Church in Miami, and man, it was really cool. This was back like 2019, and they were reaching young people in Miami, and the look and feel of that church. Again, it was called VU Church, VOUS, VU Church. The look and feel of that church was very trendy, very artistic, and completely different than what we would have done for a Life Mission Church. But they were basing it on their audience, whereas Life Mission were basing it on that audience. This very Midwest, they're in Kansas, and they very Midwest brand to reach that audience. Okay, so I want to encourage you, find your person, design that avatar. Like, just write down a few notes when I say the avatar. Like, choose a name, could be a fictitious name, and then choose what are some of the things they're looking for. What are some of the problems that they are dealing with, and what are some of the results that they want? Find that avatar and build your brand around it. So again, at Life Mission, we would plan Mother's Day around Chris. Chris was our avatar. So it's like, how do we help Chris on Mother's Day? Like, even though Mother's Day is meant for moms, it's like, okay, how do we help Chris's wife feel loved and appreciated? And what kind of messaging do we put around it so that Chris feels like he can win on Mother's Day? So it was kind of funny. One year we actually said, hey, we can help Chris by providing roses on Mother's Day so he can give his wife a rose. One year we did cards in the men's bathroom, So if he forgot a Mother's Day card, like there was extra like cards in the men's bathroom that he can grab. So anyway, just kind of funny examples, but it's just an example of like how do we take something we're doing as a church and make sure that our avatar, our target audience, is going to benefit from it, and we're communicating that, and we're designing it around it. Okay, so again, that's overarching brand. We're just trying to make sure we have clarity about our messaging. You can have different events that are geared towards specific audiences, like your women's conference can have a sub brand, something that's unique to them, right? That's maybe not part of the overarching brand of the church. But again, like the overarching brand is that we want to help Chris win in his life, that which means his marriage. So we're going to have a women's conference to help Chris's wife to become a better, wife, mom, leader, all those things, right? So that makes sense as an extension of the overarching brand. Okay, so here's the test: can a stranger tell your church from any other church by going to your website? Is it unique enough? Um, so we have to get clear about who we are for, um, and then build the brand around that. Like, what are the benefits that people can expect? Okay, so if you're part of our growth package, our growth plan, we will help you do this. We've already gone through a process of helping you do this, built your website, and gotten you going in this direction. I would just encourage you to refine that. Like everything that you do, refine it. Like, hey, is this going to be good for our avatar? That way we're not like putting a bunch of messaging out there that is random and is not appealing to our target audience. Focus for a long period of time. And then with that focus, we'll begin to reach that audience that we're designed to reach. And then once that happens, then it builds momentum and we can reach other people outside of that. Okay, so I want to encourage you with that. If you don't have our growth package, that's totally fine. You can still apply all of this. If you need some help, reach out to us. I'd love to help you with it. Okay, hey, this is Michael with Church Brand Guide, and I'll see you on the next video.